Welcome back, everybody. It is LBN once again. I am kind of in the middle of my APAC playoffs review right now, so you can probably expect to see another video or two from the APAC playoffs. But for whatever reason, I'm on a bit of a King of the Hill bender lately. I think there's a lot of interesting strategies you can do, more so than some other maps. I know I'm in the minority thinking that, but regardless, this play is going to be from Miraculous Youngster and Runaway. This was the third point on Lijiang Tower, which was the fifth map. Miraculous Youngster does not win this map, actually. They don't win this series, and they don't even win this fight. They actually lose this fight, but I still really like the strategy that they employed here. So we'll go ahead and we will watch it through once. So we see both teams running triple tank, which is kind of a little unusual. MY has more of a tendency for triple tank, and Runaway brought Kaiser back in, of course, and you know, it's not really a surprise that when Kaiser came in, suddenly they started playing Reinhardt. Hawksall really impressed me this tournament with his Zarya. He was really good. And we see MY initially was on the point, and we talked earlier about positional advantage in the last video on King of the Hill and how it matters. And we see that they have that positional advantage. But there's a couple mistakes in this fight that we will go back and talk over more in detail. But as we can see, they end up getting crushed pretty easily. Runaway's able to come forward and pretty convincingly take this fight. They don't actually lose a member here, and even if they did, they were running, of course, Mercy. So Runaway takes the fight, not really a problem. It was 2014 there. No, yeah, a little bit further back. Okay, so first thing I wanted to talk about, of course, was the difference in Oh, that's funny. Bumper doesn't switch for a little bit. Anyways, first I want to talk about the difference in the compositions here. So the big difference, of course, is that MY is not running a triple tank, actually. They only have two tanks, where Runaway is running Hawksall on the Zarya, and then they have the Janu has stuck on his Diva, and Kaiser has picked up the Reinhardt. And that's where, for MY, the late young on the Zarya, he kind of flexes a little bit more back and forth between Zarya and Diva, where Janu is... I don't remember if he plays Zarya this tournament, actually. I actually do not recall, but I know Hawksall has been playing it when they've been playing this triple tank. The point being, basically, that Runaway has a lot more kind of staying power here, with, you know, 3 tanks versus just 2 tanks from MY, but the sheer damage that the Reaper here for, I still don't know how to pronounce this properly, I think it's Yangzhao Ling or something, because there's the LG at the end, but the Reaper basically is going to be able to do a lot of work against these tanks, but as we're going to look at later, he kind of messes up a little bit playing that Reaper, and he feeds into Hawksall, but the real kind of cool play I wanted to highlight here was the positional difference that MY does. So MY kind of comes into this guessing that Runaway is going to play triple tank. The reason why is because this whole series, both teams have been playing a lot of triple tank. So it's not super surprising, or at least a lot of Reinhardt Zarya. And normally, teams go up here, where Leave currently is on the Tracer, and they run, this door opens up here, and then they run up this pathway to the high ground. And this is a village, sorry, I didn't mention that, but this is village on Nepal, and that's the standard strategy, is you go through the door on the high ground, and you fight over the high ground instead of the point. So MY essentially is kind of, I don't really want to call it anti-stratting because it's not something that Runaway does in particular, but they kind of go against the meta here. They know that Runaway is probably going to go for the high ground, so they take their kind of core here, right? Their two tanks, the Reaper, and their supports, and they go straight up mid. And we'll kind of play that out again, and you can see, sure enough, the rest of the team goes down to the low ground while Leave comes up here. And what Leave does is, he gets up to this room, and he just sits here. And what happens is we see initially, Runaway comes out, and we see Hawksall even throws a right click towards this door, because they anticipate MY to be coming through that door. And once they see no members of MY peeking through this doorway, they immediately know that they're coming through down here. And as we can, sure enough, we can see the members of MY here, they are going up through mid. And it's not that going through mid is completely unheard of, it happens, but it's not standard. So the second Runaway realizes it is not the standard play, they shift their attention to kind of the next most standard play. And what this is going to let Leave do is, as we're going to see here, the members of Runaway are now funneling kind of forward in this direction, and in theory, Leave would be able to then blink up behind them and get a lot of damage down and potentially kind of clinch the fight in Miraculous Youngster's favor. He does not do that. Leave is actually not very effective in this upcoming fight, but I can respect the positional play for Miraculous Youngster. I really do like the positional play that they make here, because now you're forcing, you know, a kind of tank v tank battle along this choke point here, this main doorway, kind of in your favor, right? It's very difficult for you to be flanked because you have, of course, the walls on each side of you. Your Reaper is now in the position he wants to be. He's in the middle of, you know, this very narrow area where the tanks of Runner are going to have to funnel in. He's going to do a ton of damage. Your Tracer can potentially get in behind people. The tools are all here for MY. So why does this fight go so poorly? It goes so poorly for a couple of reasons. One, frankly, kind of a big one, is that Yang Zhao there, we see he fires into the Zarya bubble once. Sure enough, he fires into the Zarya bubble twice, and he kind of backs off, gets healed up, and once the Zarya bubbles come back up, he fires into it again. And he ends up feeding a lot of charge to Hoxall, and as we see, sure enough, Hoxall's at 100% charge. Now, of course, Hoxall wasn't only absorbing the Reaper's damage, obviously. He was absorbing lots of other damage as well, but it certainly does not help. Hoxall ends up doing so much damage in this fight. But one of the big issues here that I kind of glossed over while I was talking about the other point is that we see GQ I believe, the Reinhardt here, kind of senses he's in danger, right? He's at about half health. He knows he's Discord orbed, so he kind of tries to make a little bit of a desperate play here. And while he gets chunked, he gets Zarya bubbled, so he's able to survive, but he stays low health. And right now, he knows that the Reaper, of course, because Reaper's at 50 health, is getting healed by the Ana. Or actually, he does get healed up. Okay, he's not actually motivated by low health. That's my bad. What actually happens here? Interesting. I thought he stayed at half health. Alright, that's my bad. But we see, regardless, he makes this weird charge. I'm not quite sure who he was trying to hit with that charge. I believe it was Kaiser, because Kaiser was in his way here. But Kaiser, you know, managed to juke out of the way, and he is now separated. And what happens now is we know the Ana player rotates outside of this little room here to heal him, because we can watch the Reinhardt's health go up in a second. And while this is all happening, Late Young is getting chunked. So we see Reinhardt's health is going up in the next couple seconds, while Late Young dies. And in the end, getting your Zarya cut down and then your Reaper quickly cut down, while the Ana is, you know, very clearly looking over here doing other stuff. And then the supports get zoned out and the fight devolves from there. And Miraculous Youngster does kind of get clobbered. And as we see, Leave was able to get up to 68, 70%-ish on his pulse bomb. But during that whole time, he wasn't able to find any kills, despite kind of coming in behind Runaway. Now, again, it's not easy to come in behind Runaway, because Cox, especially when he is on this Zenyatta, is pretty terrifying for Tracers to deal with. But and actually, as I say that, of course, it was Cox who kills Leave. But Leave was put into a position where he hopefully should have been able to make something happen. He really doesn't. Yang Zhao kind of feeds Hoxall a little bit more charge than he wants to, and GQ kind of messes up on that Reinhardt trade there. So kind of this combination of factors mess up Miraculous Youngster's attempt at that first fight, where it was kind of looking really good going into it.